Welcome back, guys. This is Automotive Anonymous. That is the all-new 2024 Subaru Impreza. More specifically, it's a base model, and it's in a color that I like to call red, which looks really good. Today we're going to review it, so that means we're going to do a walk around, go through the specs, initial driving impressions, 0 to 60 with the GPS, and then the final thoughts to help you guys decide at home, what do you do with the Impreza? Do you buy it? Do you compare it to the competition? Or do you just flat out leave it at the lot? Big thanks to Twin Falls Subaru for letting me borrow it for the day. I'll link them below. Otherwise, we're going to dive right in with this review. Subaru typically sells 30 to 70,000 Imprezas in the United States every year. But new for this 6th generation for 2024 is it's only offered as a 5-door hatchback, so they ditched the sedan configuration. Something interesting is the Impreza came out in 1992, and over the years it's offered things such as a 2-door coupe all the way up to a 5-door hatchback, so they've had a number of different configurations since then, as well as it used to offer the WRX and the STI as a trim level of the Impreza until they had their divorce in 2015 and the WRX became its own platform, its own model, and the Impreza lost it. But for 2024, the Impreza is only offered in 3 trim levels: the base, like this, a sport, or an RS badge has resurfaced. I've already reviewed one of those. It's on the channel if you're interested. Has a bigger engine, a couple other goodie upgrades, but today's video is about the base. This starts at 23,000, but after destination and a couple goodies, it's in the 24.5 ballpark. It's not rated for safety yet, but you can count on it being a 5-star crash test rating, just like all the other ones. And you know, this new generation, it lost a few things that some of us are going to miss, such as the manual transmission, the CD player, physical buttons for HVAC, but what it gained, really bright LED headlights. It gained the current generation eyesight cameras, which there are 3, so it's a more advanced system than the old one offered. And then I'll show you inside, but a base like this has the dual touchscreens rather than the larger 11.6-inch screen. It also has a slightly quieter interior and a stiffer, sportier suspension. And just driving it to get here, I can already tell you, it feels very Impreza, but it does feel a little bit better than the earlier model years. These are roughly 5.8 feet wide, 4.8 feet tall, about 14.5 feet long, so they're pretty compact while having a lot of payload, a lot of storage capacity. They can carry about 1,500 to 1,600 pounds depending on the specific configuration. It has 5.1 inches of ground clearance right here, and then Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive with a 370 final drive ratio. So it's going to put the power down decently, but it's also going to get good MPG. We also have the upgraded 16.6 gallon gas tank compared to the 13.2 it used to have. And I think the EPA rated numbers on this are more honest of what Imprezas get. Now it shows highway is only 34, putting this at about 580 miles of road tripping. In the past, they've been rated a few MPG higher, but it seems like most owners didn't actually get that. If you like this video or this vehicle, like this video to help support the channel grow. And the base model has the littlest wheels of them all, a 205 55/16, but they actually look pretty good, and disc brakes, of course. And then the key has an actual key that you have to put in an actual ignition to get into the car. You can, of course, lock and unlock the car there, or just with the keyless entry features. The door panel looks very Subaru, multiple materials used, and a various degree of dark colored shades. You have a nice soft touch armrest, a nice big handle that you could store some goodies down into, bottle holder, some snacks. Write Subaru of America an email to extend the door pocket, why don't you guys, while you're on the computer. And then unnamed speaker, nothing on the door sill, rubberized mats, rubberized pedals, fuse box, dashboard lighting adjustments, manual cloth seats that are 2-tone color. They look pretty good. And then just a incandescent light on the roof. Firing it up with the old school key. Roars to life. The needles do their dance, and the Subaru emblem appears to remind you what you're driving. Otherwise, Subaru makes pretty human-centric, comfortable interiors, so I'm having a good time just sitting in here. The horn sounds decent. The steering wheel's not leather wrapped, but it does feel good. You have all of your volume and voice controls on the left. You can go through the center display with that toggle switch right there. And then adaptive cruise on the right. You do have the split screen. I know a lot of you guys haven't seen that because base models are hard to find. Kind of interesting. I don't know why Subaru did that. I really wish we still had the 6.5 inch or the 8-inch screen that have the CD player. You do have to turn off auto start stop every time if you don't like that feature. And then through your driving modes and car characteristics down there, you can turn on the windshield or rear window defrost and ventilation and change the temperature. But I do miss those physical HVAC controls. You have a few plugins down here and a larger center pocket that's rubber lined. Go down to reverse. Check out that backup camera. Trajectory lines do move. Quality is adequate. Nothing to write home about though. Otherwise, we have electronic parking brake, no heated seats. You have a 12 volt, some cup holders. A spot for CDs, which we do not have a CD player, but Subaru must not have decided to redesign the center console area. And then no plugins, but it is largely spaced. Up top, nothing on the rear view mirror. Just some incandescent lighting up here. And there you have it. So let's turn it off, hop in the back seat. The back door panel looks very familiar for this Impreza platform. Nothing really special about the base. Everything is soft touch, large, bottle holder, some snacks, unnamed speaker again. You have a little bit of a mountainous grip if you have to step there, probably to get up to roof rails if you have those installed. Otherwise, it's a bench that is a 60-40 split, 40 on the driver's side. It's light, easy to use. There's your child tether to lock it down. And at 5'11", I sit behind myself with a couple inches of room. It's comfortable, but there's no plugins, no ventilation, and you don't have an armrest. But if you haven't seen my RS model review, a little bit of foreshadowing, it does have an armrest. Otherwise, this is the view from the back seat of the new Impreza. It's honestly pretty spacious for a full-size adult, but let's head around to the back, see what the hatch has to offer. The back of the Impreza, I honestly think looks really good with those more aggressive style LED lights, but you just have a physical key again so you can unlock it, but it's not a power lift on any model, so you have to do that yourself. The button is just under the Subaru emblem, but you may notice there's missing the pin code button that you can get on higher trim levels to open the back without even having the key on you. Those shocks really help out, and then when the seats are up, you have 20 cubic feet. When you drop all of them, you have 55, so it's actually pretty convenient, pretty capable back here. You have a light, you have a dog bowl, you have some tie downs, all other mats, the boxes for your sunshade, your extra goodies back here. And then you have under here the Fix-A-Flat kit, the tools, and some storage. What are you guys gonna hide down there? Comment below, I wanna know. Door panel looks identical to the other side. Same theme on the door sill. Designated backseat driver sits right here. And then the 60 split, which is easy to move. It's very lightweight while being a very comfortable seat. You can see that they lay almost flat, which is very convenient for using the max amount of space that this has. When you ride shotgun, you have a big door panel, but a small door pocket. Otherwise, nothing really to mention here. Nothing on the door sill, you still have rubberized, all other mats on this model. And then the bar to slide and the handle to recline. Our backpack's having a good time though, feeling comfortable. No extra storage or space or pockets up here. Just a small glove box that's adequate for the size of the vehicle that this is. Time to come around to the front, pop the hood, and see what the 2-liter Boxer looks like. Under the hood of the base and the sport is a 2-liter carryover engine, 152 peak horse, 145 peak pound-feet of torque. Really well engineered though. You can see induction goes through the grille, through the filter, the baffling, the throttle body, the upper intake manifold. You can even see where the block splits and read the numbers down there. And then you have all of your reservoirs on the front driver's side, your battery, your oil dipstick, your oil filter, your oil fill, and then the plastic 30-cent cover that protects your fingers from being lost in the serpentine belt. Look at how easy that thing would be to change. Look at how much extra room there is in this platform around the engine and the CVT transmission. So these should be pretty inexpensive for most maintenance items. If you can't do them yourself, take it to the shop. Most of them aren't too difficult to do, other than maybe the spark plugs. Strap the hood. Time to finally take it on the road and see how the all-new Impreza handles the pavement. Initial driving impressions of the base Impreza for 2024 is that it's pretty good, but it feels very similar to the 2023 lower trim level Imprezas I've driven. The interior is maybe a little bit quieter. The speaker system is about the same. It's decent. It's not like the Harman Kardon speaker system. It sounds a little bit more washed out, maybe not the same depth. But honestly, in this vehicle, it does just fine, especially with the insulation it has. Visibility is really good because it's a Subaru. That hasn't changed since the 5th generation. And overall, it's just a fantastic place to be. Driving position, it's very human-centric, it feels good. Armrest comfort is fantastic. Same thing with the center console. I just don't like the dual touch screens, but I also don't like the 11.6-inch screen either. I have that in my Outback Wilderness. I honestly just want physical buttons. What are your thoughts though? Comment that below. Otherwise, the bigger pad right here, which in a higher trim level could be a charging port or just the rubber lined grip, is really nice. Everything else is pretty basic, pretty straightforward. For 23 grand before destination or other goodies, you really can't complain in this vehicle. Having LED headlights that are very bright, especially where this one is lower to the ground with only 5 inches of ground clearance, the light is captured better where you want it to go compared to a higher vehicle. You have all the adaptive features with eyesight. It's a safe vehicle. It still gets over 30 highway. It's honestly just a really good platform. All-wheel drive, 5 inches of ground clearance, 3,300 pounds. It's very stable, very planted on the road, but it still turns pretty quickly, does a pretty good job. The red paint color on this looks nice too. You can see a little bit of the glimpse from the driver's seat. The bolstering, it's not very aggressive, so it's going to be comfortable for a lot of people. I do think Subaru cloth seats feel just fine. In general, I actually like them quite a bit. Our backpack's having a good time. We don't have blind spot monitoring on this one. You can see it's just the blank tab if that catches up on camera. But it's a new style of blind spot versus the bigger section that they used to have on the last gen. Overall though, guys, it's a really good vehicle. I think you absolutely need to test drive one, check one out. Power delivery, we're at about a mile above sea level density altitude equivalent today. Doing a pull from 40, you know, if you're around town, that's adequate. If you're at twice the altitude that we have though, or if you were trying to tow or had a, you know, cargo on the roof that catches more wind, if you just have the vehicle weighted down, the power is going to come on even less adequately. And something you might want to consider if you're trying to get a base of sport compared to the RS, you might want that upgrade power plant. But around town, with just me in the car, it honestly does pretty decent. It's pretty adequate. But let's teleport to our private road and do a 0 to 60. 0 to 60 in the Base Impreza, density altitude's 5,400 feet, so the vehicle's down on power nearly 20% today. Traction is off, I'll brake rev the CVT, and then I'll verbalize the true 0 to 60. The bottom left of the graph to follow shows without the foot rollout. That's the way cars are rated. Let's see what it can do. CVT did what it was supposed to do, and true 0 to 60 came in at 9.96 seconds, which if you haven't seen my RS video, that's about 1.3 seconds slower than it did at the same density altitude. Here's the graph, and then our final thoughts. Final thoughts of the all-new base model Impreza is it's a pretty good deal for about 24 grand to get really bright LED headlights, triple the camera on the 4th gen eyesight system, all the other safety features that this offers. You know, you're really getting a pretty good deal for a 2024 model year when the average new car is twice as expensive as what this one costs. They're capable, they're proven, they're reliable, they get pretty decent MPG for being an all-wheel drive vehicle, and it has a reputation behind it. A lot of people like these, hence why up to 70,000 of them are sold some model years. But I want to know your thoughts, guys. Are you going to buy one? Have you owned one? Are you considering it? Or are you comparing it to the other compact hatchback all-wheel drive type of vehicles? Which ones? Comment them below. If you like this video, please consider liking this video. It really shows your support and it does a lot for the channel and helping it to grow. Otherwise, I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you on the next one.